much rather try to prevent the problem from occurring than chase it down afterwards. That's the grandparent scam. Another, how many here are on a computer on a regular basis? Well, it looks about 50% of the room. And that percentage will get higher and higher. The other day I got an email from a friend of mine, and it basically said, let's see if I have it here. It's from Cindy, who lives in Elmira. Hope you get this on time. Sorry I didn't inform you about my trip to the UK for a program, and I'm having some difficulties here because I misplaced my wallet on my way to the hotel where my money and other valuable things were. Presently, my passport and my things are being held down by the hotel management pending when I make payment. I need you to help me with a loan of $2,450 to pay my hotel bills and to help get myself back home. And then it gives me all this other stuff that tells me how to send it. Now, I like Cindy. I'm not sure I like Cindy enough for a $2,450 loan, but I knew, because I had seen a number of these things, that this was not Cindy. This was someone who hacked into Cindy's computer, got into her address book, and sent it out to all of Cindy's friends. And in fact, this was sent to me at 8:58 in the morning. At like 4:30 in the afternoon, I got an email really from Cindy saying, sorry for the confusion. I'm not in the United Kingdom. I don't need your money. Please accept my apologies. Of course, she didn't do anything wrong other than, a hacker got into her computer and sent out this message that computers are great devices. I mean, they're not going away. It's a new way of communicating. But they also pose some dangers. I got a computer message from a doctor friend of mine, and it simply said, what do you think? What do you think about the attachment? Now, before I thought, I hit the attachment, and the attachment basically sent a virus throughout my computer and went to my address book within my computer and sent the same message out to all my friends. What do you think? Now, coming from a doctor, the doctor and I had conversations, so the notion of from a doctor saying to me, what do you think, it would be sort of normal part of our conversation. If I had thought, I would have realized, don't open up an attachment that you're not really sure if. The doctor was embarrassed that somebody had hacked into his computer, and I was embarrassed that by my own stupidity, I had sent it out to everyone in my address book. So you really do have to be cautious on that. We think of this effort on combating against fraud as if you think of it in terms of going into battle, and use the sword as an example. 4 edges of that. 1 being consumer education, 2 being developing partnership, 3 being enforcement of the law, and the 4th being legislation. Now, developing partnerships, we have developed partnerships with Canadian authorities because we were seeing an awful lot coming from Canada into our country. And so those partnerships have helped shut down some of the problems, but they've gone also beyond. Are we looking at time? So the partnerships are important. Enforcement is important. Chasing them down, making the arrest. Unfortunately, many of these are happening so far outside of our country that when you talk to federal authorities that have jurisdiction beyond our borders, they tell you that we are so tied up with combating against terrorism that we can't chase down some of these financial crimes. It's just the personnel limitations. 4th edge of the sword is the legislation, things like the do not call list. And the do not call list, how many here are on the do not call list? By the way, it keeps improving. If you're on the do not call list now, you don't have to renew. You're on there for as long as you want to stay on there. until you call them up and say, you know, I really miss those annoying calls. You'll stay on there, and as long as that number is assigned to you, you're on that list. It used to be you had to renew every 3 and every 5 years. So that has made progress. But of course, scam artists aren't going to pay too much attention to a do not call list. The benefit on the do not call list is that legitimate businesses will abide by it. And those who are not legitimate, so if you're getting calls that really you shouldn't be getting, that's already a clue to you that maybe this is someone that's operating outside the law. But everyone in law enforcement agrees that the most important edge of the sword is consumer education and prevention programs, things that the Cornell Cooperative and United Way, Tompkins County are sponsoring here. Getting the word out, because as I said earlier, even when an arrest is made, the money is usually gone. So, and with those who have disabilities and those who are senior citizens, oftentimes it's that money is that lifeline. It's what they need to live on, and they may not have the ability to replace that money. So we've got to stop the flow of the money off to the scam artists, and that's where I just ask the community for your assistance in looking out for the most vulnerable in your own community. You know who isn't able to get out to the senior centers, who isn't able to get out to the house. Looking out, that's how communities are built. That's how we improve the quality of life in the community. And with that, I want to thank everyone for your attention, and thank Ann for the opportunity to be here today.
Dennis, thank you. We really appreciate this. And as Dennis said, we need to be cautious. It can happen to any of us. These scamsters are persuasive, and they do catch us off guard sometimes and so forth. So it's really important. If you think it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. You know, step back, take time. You know, pressure, as Dennis mentioned, is often that quick turnaround is a red flag that this probably isn't legitimate. And I think it's also important for us to realize that tell people. Sometimes people don't want to tell anybody because they're embarrassed that it happened to them. But it is important to talk about it and share it, because by doing that, you may be helping to protect other people so that it can be shut down before it goes any further. If you need some help or are interested in some more information, the materials that Dennis has here today and so forth, and other information on consumer education and fraud and identity theft, those types of things, we have lots of that information here at our consumer helpline, and we'd be more than glad to have your call. We have staff that's trained and available to take those calls and provide coaching and information so that people can be better informed and hopefully avoid those scams. So I invite you all to help me thank the panel today for all this great information, and we look forward to being able to share this with others in our community. Thank you.